My wife Claire died 6 months ago. Car accident. Instant. The doctors said she didn't suffer, which was supposed to be a comfort, but never was. I moved to a new apartment 3 months later. Couldn't stay in the house we'd shared. Every room held memories I wasn't ready to face. The new place was small, cheap, anonymous, perfect for someone who wanted to disappear into grief. That's when I met Mr. Kovac. He lived in the apartment next door, an elderly man, maybe 70, who kept to himself. We'd nod in the hallway but never spoke. He seemed harmless, lonely, like most people in the building. The music started my first night there. At exactly 3 a.m., I woke to the sound of a song playing through the thin walls. An old song, instrumental, haunting. Piano and strings. It played for exactly 4 minutes, then stopped. Silence until morning. The second night, same thing. 3 a.m., same song, 4 minutes. By the end of the first week, I'd memorized every note. The melody would loop in my head during the day. I asked Mr. Kovac about it once in the hallway. "Do you play music at night?" He looked at me with watery blue eyes. "Only one song, for my Anya. She loved it." "Your wife?" "Yes, she's been gone 40 years, but I play it for her every night, so she knows I haven't forgotten." It was sad, but I understood. Grief makes us do strange things. If playing a song at 3 a.m. helped him cope, who was I to judge? But last night, something changed. Last night at exactly 3 a.m. the song began as usual. Piano, strings, haunting and beautiful. And then I heard a voice singing along, Claire's voice. My dead wife was singing Mr. Kovac's song through the walls, and she was singing my name. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to the channel and leave your like, because the ending of this story will shake you in ways you never imagined. And tell me in the comments, from which city are you watching this story? Now let's begin. I pressed my ear against the wall, my heart pounding. It was impossible. Claire was dead. I'd been to her funeral, watched her casket lowered into the ground. She was gone. But that voice, I knew that voice. The way she elongated certain words, the slight breathiness on high notes. It was her. The song continued. Claire's voice wove through the melody, singing words I couldn't quite make out. Not English, something older. Slavic, maybe. When the 4 minutes ended, silence fell like a guillotine. I stood in my dark bedroom, shaking, wondering if I'd imagined it. Grief hallucinations were real. I'd read about them. People seeing, hearing, even smelling their deceased loved ones. That had to be it. Stress, lack of sleep, my mind playing cruel tricks. But the next night at 3 a.m. the song started again. And again, Claire's voice joined it. This time I recorded it on my phone. Hands trembling, I held the device against the wall and captured 2 minutes before the song ended. In the morning, I listened to the recording. The instrumental music was there, clear and haunting. But Claire's voice, there was no voice, just the music. I'd hallucinated it, had to have. Except that night I heard her again, and this time I understood one word she was singing. David. My name. I confronted Mr. Kovac the next morning. He was collecting his mail in the lobby, moving slowly with a cane. "Mr. Kovac, I need to ask you something about the song you play." He turned, his expression guarded. "Yes? Has anyone ever heard things? When you play it?" His face went pale. "What have you heard?" "A voice, a woman singing. It sounds like my wife, but she's been dead for 6 months. Mr. Kovac grabbed my arm with surprising strength. "Come to my apartment. Now. We must talk." His apartment was sparse. Old furniture, faded photographs on every surface. Pictures of a beautiful woman with dark hair. His Anya, I assumed. "Sit," he commanded. "I will tell you something I have told no one." He sat across from me, hands shaking. "The song is not just a song. It is a bridge between this world and the next. My Anya taught it to me before she died. She said if I played it at the hour of her death, 3 a.m., she could visit me. Just for those 4 minutes." "That's impossible." "Is it? You heard your wife singing. That is impossible too, yes?" I couldn't argue with that. "So you're saying Claire is, what? Crossing over when you play the song?" "The song opens a door. For 4 minutes. For those who are listening, who are grieving, the dead can reach through. Speak, sing, be present. He leaned forward. But there is a danger, David. The door opens both ways, and not everything that comes through is what it seems. What do you mean? My voice was barely a whisper. Mr. Kovac stood and retrieved an old leather journal from a shelf. Anya wrote this. Before she died, she understood things, old things, things from the country we left behind, things about death and what comes after. He opened the journal to a marked page. The writing was in Cyrillic, but he translated, "The Song of Crossing must be used with caution. It was created by monks in the 14th century to communicate with martyrs, but over time, it was corrupted. Used by those who wanted to bring back more than voices. Some tried to bring back the dead themselves. What happened to them? What came back was not their loved ones. It was something else, something that wore their faces and spoke their words, but was hollow inside. Empty. Hungry. I thought about Claire's voice singing my name. How do I know if it's really her? You ask something only she would know, something private. If she answers correctly, it is truly her spirit. If she cannot answer, or answers wrong, he closed the journal, then it is something pretending to be her, and you must stop listening, stop opening yourself to the song. And if it is her, if it's really Claire, Mr. Kovac's expression was infinitely sad, then you must say goodbye, because the door should not stay open, the dead must rest, and the living must let them go. That night, I waited for 3 a.m. When the song began, I sat against the wall and listened. The piano, the strings, and then, right on cue, Claire's voice. I spoke aloud, feeling foolish but desperate. Claire, if that's really you, I need you to answer a question. What was the name of the restaurant where I proposed? The singing continued, beautiful and ethereal. But there was no answer, just the melody, Claire's voice weaving through it without acknowledging my words. My heart sank. Mr. Kovac was right. This wasn't Claire. It was something else, using her voice. I was about to stand up to walk away when the singing stopped mid-note. There was silence. Then Claire's voice spoke directly. Lucia's, the Italian place on 5th Street. You were so nervous you dropped the ring. I started crying. It was her. Really her. Claire, I miss you so much. I miss you too, David. I've been trying to reach you. The song is the only way. Mr. Kovac said there's danger, that I shouldn't keep listening. He's right. The door attracts attention. Other things notice when it opens. They want to come through too. Her voice was fading. I don't have much time. 4 minutes, remember? Listen to me. You need to stop grieving. You need to live. Promise me. I can't, not without you. You have to, because if you keep opening this door, if you keep calling me back, something else will answer eventually, something that isn't me. Promise me you'll stop listening to the song. The 4 minutes ended. Silence fell, and I sat in the darkness, torn between the desperate need to hear her voice again and the promise she'd asked me to make. A promise I knew I couldn't keep. I became obsessed with 3 a.m. I'd go to bed early, set alarms, make sure I was awake and ready when the song began. Every night Claire would speak to me during those 4 precious minutes. We talked about everything, our first date, our wedding, the life we'd planned. She told me things about the other side, how it felt peaceful, timeless, like floating in warm water. But she also warned me repeatedly, David, you have to stop. I can feel things watching, waiting. Every time the door opens, they get closer. Just one more night, please. You said that yesterday, and the day before. I was losing weight, losing focus. My job suffered. Friends stopped calling. All I cared about was those 4 minutes at 3 a.m. when my wife was alive again. Mr. Kovac noticed. He knocked on my door one evening looking concerned. You are still listening. I can't stop, it's really her. You were wrong about it being dangerous. No, I was right. You are not listening to me. Your wife is not the danger. You are. Your grief is creating a beacon, and hungry things are drawn to beacons. I don't care. You will. When it is too late. When something else starts answering. When something comes through the door wearing her face. He left, shaking his head. And that night at 3 a.m. I learned he was right. The song began as usual. Piano strings, haunting melody. But something felt different. The air in my room was colder, heavier. Claire's voice started singing, but it sounded wrong, slightly off pitch. The words were slurred. "Claire?" I pressed against the wall. "Are you okay?" The singing stopped. "David." Her voice was flat, emotionless. "What's wrong?" "Nothing is wrong. Everything is perfect. Come closer to the wall." I pulled back instinctively. "Why?" "So I can see you better." "You can't see me, you're on the other side." "Not anymore. The door is wider now. You opened it so many times, made it bigger, stronger. Now I can almost step through." This wasn't Claire. Her voice, yes. Her words, no. Claire would never speak like this. Mechanical, hollow. "Who are you?" Silence, then laughter. Not Claire's bright musical laugh. Something darker, crueler. "I am what comes after. What waits. What feeds on grief and longing. You called and now I've answered." I jumped away from the wall. The song was still playing, but Claire's voice, the thing using Claire's voice, kept talking. "Every night you listened, you fed me, made me stronger. Soon I'll be strong enough to cross completely, and when I do, I'll wear her face, speak her words, you'll let me in, you'll embrace me, and you'll never know the difference." The 4 minutes ended. The music stopped, but I could still hear breathing through the wall, wet, labored breathing that came from no living throat. Something was on the other side, and it was waiting for tomorrow's song. I ran to Mr. Kovac's apartment and pounded on the door. He opened it, already dressed despite the late hour. "You heard," he said simply. "Something is using her voice, something wrong. I told you this would happen. The door has been open too long, too many nights. Now something has found it, and it wants to cross over. How do I stop it?" Mr. Kovac led me inside and opened Anya's journal again. "There is only one way. The song must be destroyed. Not the recording, not the sheet music. The song itself must be forgotten, erased from memory." "How?" "The person who plays it must stop, forever. They must forget the melody completely. Only then does the door close permanently. You have to stop playing." His eyes filled with tears. "If I stop, I lose Anya. For 40 years I have spoken to her. 4 minutes every night, it is all I have left. But it's not really her anymore, you know that. For the first 39 years it was. Only recently," he trailed off, "I noticed changes. Small things. The way she speaks. But I told myself I was imagining it. Mr. Kovac, if you keep playing, that thing will cross over. It'll come for both of us." He sat heavily, suddenly looking every one of his 70 years. "I know. I have always known this day would come. But I am a coward. I am old, alone. Those 4 minutes are all I have. Then we're both going to die, because I can't stop listening either." We sat in silence, two widowers trapped by grief, knowing what we had to do, but unable to do it. "There may be another way," Mr. Kovac said finally. "The journal mentions a ritual, a way to close the door without forgetting the song." "What kind of ritual?" "A trade, one soul for another. Someone must cross to the other side and close the door from within, seal it permanently so nothing can use it again." "That's insane. You're talking about dying. I am talking about sacrifice, about ending this cycle before something truly evil crosses over." He looked at me steadily. "I am old, David, sick. The doctors give me 6 months, perhaps less. I have lived my life. You have not. I'm not letting you kill yourself. It would not be suicide. It would be purpose. And I would see Anya again. The real Anya, not the imitation I have been speaking to." We spent the rest of the night studying the journal. The ritual was simple but irreversible. At 3 a.m., when the song played, the willing sacrifice would press their hand to the wall and speak the words of crossing. They would be pulled through the door, sealing it behind them. "The entity cannot follow," Mr. Kovac explained. "The door will close before it can cross. And it will be trapped on the other side forever." "What about Claire? Will I lose her too?" You have already lost her, David. What you have been speaking to these past weeks, that is not your wife. Your wife is at peace. The door disturbed that peace. He was right. I knew he was right. But the thought of never hearing her voice again made my chest ache. When? I asked. Tomorrow night. I will perform the ritual during the song. You must not listen. You must not come to the wall. Promise me. I promised. But I knew I would break that promise, because I needed to say goodbye, one final time, to the real Claire, if I could reach her. The next night, I waited until 2:55 a.m., then went to Mr. Kovach's door. He opened it before I could knock. I knew you would come, he said sadly. I need to try one more time, to reach the real Claire, to say goodbye properly. It is too dangerous. Please, just let me try. If it's not her, if it's that thing, I'll stop immediately. But I need to know. At exactly 3 a.m. the song began. Mr. Kovach had set up candles, arranged the ritual elements according to Anya's journal. We both pressed our hands to the wall and listened. The music was different tonight, darker, dissonant. And when Claire's voice began, I knew immediately it wasn't her. David, come to me. Cross over. We can be together forever. That's not Claire, I whispered. No, Mr. Kovach agreed. It is the entity, fully manifested now, ready to cross. He began speaking the words of the ritual, ancient words in a language I didn't know. The wall under our hands grew hot. What are you doing? The voice using Claire's form screamed. Stop, Mr. Kovach continued. The wall began to glow. I felt a pulling sensation like suction. David, help me, Claire's voice, but I knew it wasn't her. Mr. Kovach's hand started to sink into the wall. He looked at me one last time. Tell no one about the song. Let it die with us. Promise. I promise. He smiled. Good. Now I go to see my real Anya. His entire arm was through the wall now. The entity was shrieking, a sound that hurt my ears. The pull was getting stronger, trying to drag me through too. I yanked my hand away, just as Mr. Kovach disappeared completely, pulled through the wall. There was a flash of light, a sound like thunder, and then silence. The music stopped. The wall returned to normal. Solid, cold, empty. I pressed my ear against it. Nothing. No song. No breathing. No voices. The door was closed. They found Mr. Kovach's body the next morning. Heart attack, the coroner said. Peaceful. Like he'd simply gone to sleep. I didn't tell them what really happened. I'd promised. I attended his funeral. There were only 5 people there. Me, the building manager, and 3 distant relatives who'd barely known him. A sad end for a man who'd loved so deeply for so long. At the reception, one of the relatives handed me a box. He left this for you. His will specified you should have it. Inside was Anya's journal and a letter in Mr. Kovach's shaky handwriting. David, if you are reading this, the ritual worked. The door is closed. The entity is trapped. And I am with my Anya again, the real one. I leave you this journal not to use, but to destroy. Burn it. Let the knowledge die. The song must be forgotten. But before you do, know this. In those final moments, before I crossed, I felt her. The real Claire. She was there on the other side. She wanted me to tell you she loves you, that she's at peace and that you must live your life fully, not as a ghost haunting your own grief. She said to tell you, remember the good times, not the ending. Remember the love, not the loss. Go in peace, David, and let the dead rest. Pavel Kovach. I burned the journal that night, watched 40 years of knowledge and ritual turn to ash, and I tried to forget the melody that had haunted my nights. But some songs never truly leave you. Even now, months later, I sometimes wake at 3 a.m. and hear an echo of that music in my mind. The difference is, I don't listen anymore. I don't press my ear to walls or call out to the darkness, because I understand now what Mr. Kovach learned over 40 years. The dead are meant to rest, and the living are meant to live. Claire is gone. The real Claire is at peace, and I'm finally learning to let her go. Sometimes love means holding on, but sometimes it means letting go. Knowing when to say goodbye is the hardest part of grief, but it's also the most necessary. 6 months after Mr. Kovach's death, I moved out of the apartment building. Too many memories, too many sleepless nights, listening for a song that would never play again. My new place is bright, modern, with thick walls. I never hear my neighbors, never wake at 3 a.m. to mysterious music. It's quiet, safe, lonely in a different way than before. I started seeing a therapist, talking about Claire, about grief, about the strange experience with Mr. Kovach, though I left out the supernatural parts. Just said he was a grieving widower who helped me understand that holding on too tight can be its own kind of death. The therapist said I was making progress, learning to live again. I even went on a date last month, coffee with a woman from work. It was nice, awkward, nothing serious, but it was a step. Sometimes I think about that song, wonder if anyone else knows it, if there are other widowers playing it at 3 a.m. in other apartments, opening doors they don't understand. I hope not. I hope the knowledge died with Mr. Kovach and Anya's burned journal. But last week, something happened that makes me wonder. I was at a coffee shop working on my laptop when a street musician started playing outside. A violin piece, haunting, beautiful, and I recognized the melody, the song, Mr. Kovach's song, being played in broad daylight by someone who couldn't possibly know its significance. I approached the musician. "Where did you learn that song?" He smiled. "It's an old piece, from Eastern Europe. My grandmother taught it to me, said it was a lullaby for the dead. Pretty, isn't it? A lullaby for the dead, spreading, being taught, being played. I gave him $50 and asked him to never play it again. He looked confused, but agreed. But how many others know it? How many grandmothers have taught it to their grandchildren? How many street musicians play it without understanding what it opens? The song isn't dead. It's out there, spreading like a virus. And every time it's played at the right hour, in the right circumstances, by someone grieving deeply enough, a door opens. I've thought about trying to track down every version, every performance, destroying them all. But I know it's impossible. The song is older than I am, older than Mr. Kovach, older than any of us. Some knowledge can't be destroyed. It can only be forgotten. And this song doesn't want to be forgotten. Last night, I woke at 3 a.m. No music, no voices, just silence. But as I lay there in the darkness, I could have sworn I heard very faintly, like an echo from far away, the sound of a piano, and strings, and a woman singing, not Claire, someone else, somewhere else, another grieving person opening another door. The song continues. The doors keep opening, and things keep waiting on the other side, patient and hungry. I pulled my pillow over my head and forced myself back to sleep, because there's nothing I can do, nothing anyone can do. The dead call to the living, and the living, in their grief, will always answer. My neighbor played the same song every night at 3 a.m. Last night I heard my dead wife singing it, and I learned that some goodbyes aren't endings, they're warnings. Warnings that love and grief can open doors that should stay closed. And sometimes, what answers when we call isn't what we lost. It's what's been waiting all along.